Lake Atitlán, Guatemala. A massive caldera formed by a supervolcano more than 80,000 years ago. Today, this stunning lake is surrounded by 3 towering volcanoes and 11 villages, where Spanish is often the second most spoken language and the Mayan culture is still deeply woven into everyday life. This is a place that's not only incredibly beautiful, but rich in history, tradition, and community. And for first-time visitors like us, it feels unlike anywhere else in the world. We're spending the next few weeks exploring the beautiful country of Guatemala, and our first stop is here at Lake Atitlán. We're diving headfirst into Guatemalan lake life and taking you along on the journey as we explore local villages, chase sunrises, and experience the local way of life in this one-of-a-kind place.
Good morning from Lake Atitlán. We are starting our morning here watching the sunrise at the beautiful Lake Atitlán in San Marcos La Laguna.
Yeah, we actually arrived in San Marcos La Laguna last night, so if you were coming from Guatemala City or Antigua, like most travelers we think are, you'd usually come through a town called Pana and then be on a water taxi. But yesterday was actually Christmas Day, so we booked a driver to bring us over here so we could avoided anything being closed. So it worked out. Our driver thought he was an F1 driver. A bit scary at times, these roads are steep, so.
And when we got here, I was sitting next to a lady on the plane and she was telling me how windy the roads were. And I was like, yeah, I bet they are windy. They're definitely very, very windy.
All right, so that being said, we have a couple of big days planned here at Lake Atitlán and San Marcos and a couple of the other towns in the surrounding area. So we're gonna get our butt in gear and get to explore in this beautiful place.
Like we were saying, we're staying in San Marcos, which is kind of more of like a hippie part of town. Good example of this is where we were filming last. Girl walked up and got completely naked and then jumped into the lake. So we had to move spots and find somewhere else to go, but maybe the all natural is a thing here. Guess we'll find out.
So San Marcos La Laguna is one of 11 villages that surround Lake Atitlán. This is actually the one we wanted to choose because it's a slower pace of life. It's a little bit more quiet. Like Aaron said, it's a little bit more hippie. Most of the places here are like yoga studios. So in the morning they all get together and they do yoga. And I guess some people bathe naked in the lake, which to each their own. But every town is a little bit different. So each one has their own personality. So San Marcos is hippie, a little bit grungy vibes, peaceful. And towns like San Juan is like textiles and art. And then the big town is Pana. It's the hub here. So most everybody, like we said, comes through Pana when they come to any of the villages at Lake Atitlán. It's larger than all the other cities or towns on the lake. There are roads that connect all the towns, even though people don't really choose to use those whenever they come and travel around the lake. They actually use something called a Lancha or a water taxi. And that's how you get around the lakes. There's docks at every town. And then tuk-tuks kind of fill in the gap though. We're excited to explore a couple of the towns here around the lake. But first, we need to fuel up and grab some breakfast. So let's go do that now.
Hi, Will.
Oh my gosh. So welcome to our first stop here of the video and our first actual stop here in San Marcos La Laguna. We're here at the Hidden Garden for breakfast. So one of the important things that we chose whenever we were picking our breakfast spot is that it had traditional Guatemalan breakfast. Eggs, beans, plantains. Seems a lot like Costa Rican breakfast, which was fantastic actually. And then there's some kind of like honey spicy stuff that I tried earlier and it's quite spicy. I like spicy stuff. It's hot. But yeah, we're excited to dive in. This place is just beautiful. It's like really quiet in here. Everything is like kind of segmented. You feel like you're like in like a little hidden garden. They did a good job with the name, I'll just say that. But let's dive in and see how good it is.
There's something about drinking coffee right from the source. The high altitude with the volcanic soil makes the perfect conditions for making great coffee beans and you can really taste it.
The beans are different than the ones in Costa Rica because it's like a bean paste. And this isn't like a hot sauce. It's more like just tomato sauce, like almost like spaghetti sauce, but like without like, it's just like tomato paste. It's really weird. And then everything here is served with corn tortillas. But yeah, it's banging breakfast, banging cappuccino. Guatemala's off to a good start.
That coffee was absolutely delicious. The cups were absolutely huge and they got me buzzing for our next activity.
What the hell?
So up next, we're gonna do something that we've never done before, which is actually gonna be a bee tour that has bees with no stingers. And we're gonna learn about the processes, how honey is made, how they pollinate, all the things. We're not 100% sure what we're getting into, but I think it's gonna be great.
This little unassuming house near the top of San Marcos is home to Kotsijal Juyu. Here is where we met Rosanna, who is going to act as our guide today for the bee demonstrations. But before we even made it to the bees, the coffee immediately caught our eyes. She was actually in the middle of laying out and drying coffee beans in the courtyard to get ready for roasting later in the week. But eventually we got to talking about the bees. And they're quite interesting little creatures. These bees are not only known for their uniquely sweet honey, but also their cultural significance in this part of the world. Mayan beekeeping dates back over 3,000 years, and it's people like Rosanna and her family that are keeping this tradition alive even today. The stingless bees that her and her family watch over not only produce delicious honey, but they also use that honey for medicinal purposes in tinctures that we understood to be used for tummy issues or sore throats. If you'd like to schedule a tour here and support their bee preservation efforts, we'll leave a link below to their website.
So we have left the bee tour. That place was so cute. It was 100% family owned. There's a mural on the wall, and she was explaining to us that the people on the wall were actually her family members. And then there was different bees, and the different bees on the wall were the different non-stinging bees. And they even had like a stick of lavender, because lavender is one of the pollinator plants.
They also have a tour where you can put on a full bee suit. It's a little bit, I think it's like 200 Q per person. And you can walk up into the mountain for a couple hours and see like the honey bees with the stingers. So not the Mayan bees, but regular bees. But she had done it the other day and she said the suits don't really protect that much. So she got a few stings and didn't want to do it again, which we completely understood. But I think it's pretty interesting. There's a couple of different bee farms around here. We chose to do the one here in San Marcos. And I think we had a pretty good time. So if you're in San Marcos, it's a good one to do. But now we're gonna head back into town and go check out the city.
So today we're spending most of our time in San Marcos, which is actually where our Airbnb is. We came down from the honeybees, we checked out town a little bit, and I know we got to mention this before, so San Marcos is more of like the hippie town. So everybody comes here to relax, get away, meditate, do yoga, stuff like that. So we decided that we would come back to the Airbnb to talk a little bit more about the town.
Yeah, like Aaron said, like a lot of the places here are yoga or meditation centric. So we're actually on top of the yoga deck at our Airbnb now. It's called Saranai. If you're interested, we'll do a little quick tour around the room. Fantastic so far. So if you're interested in booking, it's been great so far. This morning we could see people doing yoga on the different rooftops around town. Smell the sage in the air when you're walking through the streets. There's massage places, there's meditation classes, there's yoga classes around. So this is definitely the hippie-centric town on the lake. There still is Mayan culture. Like when we went to the lady at the bees, Rosanna, I believe, was her name. She was trying to turn her Mayan words into Spanish words, which is really interesting.
Yeah, so like one of the cool things about Lake Atitlán is the Mayan tribes still live around here. And so there's 3 different versions of Mayan language that are still spoken here. So our guide spoke Mayan and she was trying to translate it to Spanish, and then we were trying to understand through our broken Spanish everything that she was saying. And so like honestly, it's just such a unique, cool experience. We are loving San Marcos.
But even if you're not into like the holistic meditation thing, San Marcos is actually one of the few places that you can stay at the lake for this view behind us.
Dun, dun, dun.
Holy crap, is it incredible. That's 3 volcanoes, and oh my gosh, this is what's special. This is what you come here for, is that view, the peace, the relaxation. It's fantastic. But now that we've explored town and we've got our rest and relaxation in San Marcos, we're gonna go to the San Marcos Nature Reserve. It's famous for the cliff diving. I'm sure if you've done any research in Guatemala, you've seen people jumping off the cliffs. We're not gonna partake in that, but they do kayak rentals. So we're gonna go get on the lake and hope it's not too choppy, because it is a slight bit windy right now.
See you on the water. So we just got to the nature reserve, and whenever you show up, there's like a little shack where you walk up and then you pay. So for foreigners, it's 20 Q per person. So we paid our 40 Q to get in here, and there was a big group of people in front of us. So we figured we would just, follow the leader, follow the person in front of us, and we did. And it's up to this like, I don't even know, it's like a boardwalk or they jump off and then they're cliff jumping. And like, when I thought cliff jumping, I thought it was gonna be, you know, like maybe 40 feet. This is like 100 feet. Like this is actually crazy. I'm not a daredevil, but more power to them.
It's really cool to watch those kids jump off of the high jump here at the nature reserve. It's not 100 feet like Aaron says. It does look tall, but the sign says 12 meters. The sign might be lying a little bit, but it's not 100 feet. It is really tall, so if you're wanting to do it, be brave. This is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. We're noticing something in Guatemala, like a trend that's starting to happen, is that you need to be flexible. So some things aren't always what they seem. Like when we went to do the bee tour, she'd been stung too many times, so we couldn't do the full tour. When we come here, we wanted to rent kayaks, and they're not gonna let us do it because they said the water's too choppy. So we're gonna keep trying to rent kayaks, maybe tomorrow or the next day. But just know that you're probably gonna have to be a little bit flexible whenever you come to Guatemala, because it seems like sometimes it's just kind of what they feel is what happens. So we're gonna go walk the hike, so we're actually gonna enjoy the nature reserve here and walk these trails. Hopefully see a quetzal, fingers crossed. But yeah, we're gonna soak up the rest of the day because it looks like it might rain soon. So we're gonna soak up the beautiful views of the lake.
Up the trails. I'm a trail master. I'm a trailblazer.
We really enjoyed our time here at the nature preserve and just all of San Marcos today, and just can't get over this view here. No matter if it's here, it's in town, the top of the Airbnb, where the bees are. I mean, you could just sit here and look at this all day. This is just magnificent. This is background material is what this is. But unfortunately, we haven't seen all the animals that Aaron wanted to see. We did see some vultures, which are pretty cool. Vultures are buzzards. I'm pretty sure they're vultures. But we're still on the hunt for the quetzal, quetzale, something. We are on the hunt for that bird. So I guess we're gonna have to go to another nature preserve somewhere else on the lake. But I think now we're gonna head back into town and get some dinner. There's a lot of awesome restaurants there. It's very vegetarian and vegan friendly. So Aaron is good for dinner here. And yeah, we're gonna go check it out. And I think we're gonna call it a day here. Good morning from the top of Lake Atitlán. We are on top of the Indian Nose hike right now. We woke up this morning super early, dazed and confused, hopped in a van with no markings on it, which brought us to the base of this mountain. We hiked up I think it was like a mile or so. It's like 2,000 feet in elevation, gain in complete darkness. Good thing we brought our headlamps because it was dark, that's for sure. The hike wasn't too bad. It's a little bit strenuous for early in the morning, get your heart going, that's for sure. But the views are insanely worth it. Like, this is amazing. And not only do we get to see the sunrise come over all the volcanoes here, we also got our first glimpse at Volcan Fuego, and it was erupting. It's a great way to start the morning.
So we decided to book this tour on Viator, and the main reason was because they'll pick us up and we didn't want to try to find the trailhead in the complete darkness. And the other perk to booking on Viator is that they'll drop you off wherever. So yesterday we were in San Marcos, and today we're going to explore San Juan.
All right, so we've made it down from the hike of Indian Nose or Rostro Mayo, and we are now in the town of San Juan La Laguna. And this is probably the stop that I've been looking forward to the most here at Lake Atitlán, because it's known for being one of the most colorful and cultural places here on the lake. And you can really see it. As soon as we got dropped off, we were here in the Calle de Sombrillo, and it's just beautiful, it's busy, it's a lot bigger than San Marcos.
San Juan is known for its colorful art and textiles. So later today, we're actually going to be taking a weaving class. I'm so excited for this because it reminds me of the weaving class we took when we were in Peru in the town of Chinchilla.
Yeah, we actually got to watch how they color all the textiles there in Peru, but today we actually get to do it ourselves, and we're going to make a wall hanging.
I am so excited. I'm a little bit nervous because I want to make sure that it turns out perfectly. But
before we do all that, we got to go fill our stomachs up because we're on an adventure this morning, and I'm quite hungry. All right, so we made it to breakfast. We chose this place called Nativo. It's like a little place just kind of on the main drag, so it's a little bit loud here, but apparently they have really good portions and great coffee. That's kind of what drew us in here was the coffee, and it looks pretty nice. We did get our food. I got omelet with mushrooms, black beans, and some salad and avocados. Erin got avocado toast with a yogurt, and then she got a juice where I got a coffee. Coffee is delicious. One thing to know is this place is pretty slow, so if you're in a hurry, this is probably not the place for you. It took us like an hour and a half to get our food, but we're gonna dive in because it looks delicious and we were starving from the hike this morning.
So we have left breakfast and we've decided to go wander around San Juan. Like Will said earlier, San Juan is known for its colorful, vibrant colors, and one of those things is the vibrant street art, which is everywhere. It's like an open air museum everywhere you look.
Yeah, we actually stumbled upon, I believe this is their community center, so the library is behind us. There's a big basketball and auditorium area in here. It's all covered, all beautiful colors and patterns and images depicting like Mayan life and stuff. There's even like this cool like flying corn thing up behind us, but there's all kinds of really cool, neat things around here. And no, this is just one piece of the city, and there's so much more that we get to go look around. There's just color everywhere, art everywhere. It's really cool so far. We spent a little bit more time admiring all the street art, listening to some of the street performers, both new and traditional music. And then we were finally off to our traditional Mayan weaving class.
Now, if you watch any of our other videos, you would know this is not our first weaving class, but this one is extra special because we actually get to make the wall hanging and do the weaving ourselves and then take it home as a souvenir. Not only do we get to learn about the natural dyes, we also get to learn about the traditional weaving techniques up close and personal. I'm so excited for this one, so let's go check it out. So update, we're at the weaving class and I am trash at this. This is so hard. I didn't think it was gonna be this hard, but it's coming along. Picked 4 colors, picked blue, orange, green, and like a purpley color. So we'll see what it looks like. I can see some mistakes I've already made, but hopefully we can recover it and it will be perfect whenever it's all done. Hopefully I don't get in trouble again.
This is just what we needed to finish our first couple days here in Lake Atitlán. This has been super fun. It's actually not too hard once you get started. I've learned very quickly and I've become an A student. They've left me alone and I'm even putting colors in myself. I had one bad line. She came and showed me how to do that. But as far as like the actual weaving, there's only 2 steps. So there's step 1 where we pull up here, run it through. Then once you get that, open it up and you take your yarn stick, push it through, and then that's what creates a weave. And then you pack it down, and then step 2 is the easier one. So when you pull this out, step 2, you push it all the way up, and then this slides on it. Super easy. Rinse and repeat. And you just do that over and over until I get 7 rows, and then I'll do a color. So I'm doing green, green, purple, 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 orange, 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 teal, 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 yellow, and then I'll finish with yellow. It's funny because they left me alone, but Erin had 3 teachers. She got done faster, but I think they might have cut her off. She had so many teachers. They ran out of people to teach her. She kind of got it towards the end, but we all know who's better here.
All right, well, that weaving class was so much fun. I don't think I ever actually got the hang of it, but I'm gonna blame it on the fact that I'm left-handed.
That place is called Tinta Maya, if I didn't mention it earlier, and it was awesome. The classes are about 300 Q per person, so really affordable especially for like a 3 or 4 hour class. It was super fun. I had a blast. Erin had a blast as well.
I mean, I had a great time. I really did have a great time. Like, the lady was so sweet. It wasn't 100% Spanish, and so we were figuring it out together, you know?
There were a couple of people that spoke English there.
Not my 3 teachers.
Well, I had 2 teachers, and one of them spoke English quite well. But yeah, that is something, honestly, that's what we needed. We were talking about rest and relaxation in San Marcos, and then came to San Juan, and then we bounced over to San Pedro for just a quick minute because we had extra time today. There's a lot going on in these two towns. Where San Marcos, we might have taken for granted a little bit, but that weaving class at Tinta Maya that's exactly what we needed.
It was tucked away. You didn't hear much of the traffic anymore. No more horns, no more crazy. I mean, honestly, it was exactly what we needed.
But now we're gonna do our first Lancha ride, and we're gonna ride off into the sunset, and we will see you in our next video where we go explore the largest town here on Lake Atitlán. Until next time.
Until next time.
Weaving. So today we are going to be taking a weaving class. You think you fit in my carry-on? Will's allergic to you, but he can get over it.
What about that one, Will? What about that one?
It's a vulture.
I will find the Quetzal. Look at all these little ones. Every time I see a bird, I'm just like, yes! But it's not the Quetzal, okay? The Quetzal is elusive. I will find the Quetzal. Maybe Quetzal, maybe Quetzal. Not 100% sure. But anyway, I'm gonna find him.
Cat. Hello. Or should I say, hola, kitty cat. You're a Spanish kitty cat. Yes, you are. You're a Spanish-speaking kitty cat.
Put this right.